Assalamu alaikum. This will be about immigration, borders, nationalities. Who are we really without these man made constructs that are causing us so much trouble right about now? Well, if you want to find out the truth about everything, not just who you are, but the universe, etc., go to Quran. And that's what we're doing right now. I would like to begin Surah Al-Anbiya with just a few ayat or two to intro this, as I've just described. And here's how Allah intros the verse of the chapter called Anbiya, meaning the messengers, the prophets, Nabi, plural, Anbiya. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقترب للناس حسابهم وهم في غفلة معرضون ما يأتيهم من ذكر من ربهم محدث إلا استمعوا وهم يلعبون لاهية قلوبهم وأسروا النجوى الذين ظلموا هل هذا إلا بشر مثلكم أفتأتون السحر وأنتم تبصرون. I'm just going to translate this for you. May not be totally word for word, but Allah is saying here that the hour is near, the hour has come close, and you are just playing in ghafla. You know these words, the Arabic, if you know Arabic, you're listening to it, and you know what it means. And you're playing. You're playing around. Yar'abun. Because La'ab means to play without remembering Allah, without mentioning His name, the word La'ab. And Allah says in Quran, Al-Hayat ad-dunya La'ab wa lahu. La'ab is playing around without mentioning Allah, and lahu is speaking without mentioning Allah, which is a very bad thing. Now, moving along to the next verse. Their hearts are not with this message that they're actually listening to. And they're continuing on in their idle talk, the najwa. And they're saying, why are you listening? He's just a person like you. Nothing special about this messenger or Nabi, prophet, messenger. There's some issues about is there any difference. It literally means the person who's trying to talk some sense into you by teaching you Quran and Hadith. So these idiots are saying, and I told you it's not word for word, I want you to get it. They're saying, he's a basharan mithlukum, he's like you. Sata'atuna seher wa antum la tubasirun. Now right here we have the proof, if you read the Arabic properly. Is he doing a trick with you, seher? Is he making some form of magic, quote unquote, on you? Wala antum ya tubsirun. Do you not see clearly? Basara. I've told you before, we have many words for the vision, the sight. You know, we say ru'ya from ra'a. We have nadara, you know, to gaze at something, to see something. But basara also refers to sight, but it also refers to, moreover, insight, a depth, basara. It means you get it deeply. So now I found this an interesting intro because the other two parts of this lesson are going to be from the same surah. And I told you the subject is immigration. Who are we? What are these nation states? So let's start off with the borders. We're having a big issue now, and they're saying they're all gangsters, and they're saying they're causing problems. Well, who caused the problems in the first place? The banksters, of course, when they rape and pillage the third world, which nothing's new, and their plan is to continue doing it. So my goal and my job is to enlighten you, after I can get my vision straight here, page 325. Okay. Here's something about borders, okay? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بل متعنا هؤلاء وآباءهم حتى طال عليهم العمر أفلا يرون أنا نأتي الأرض ننقصها من أطرافها أفهم غالبون. Allah is giving here, you can say, a veiled threat, a warning. And I don't know why the Imams never talk about these ayat that are extremely, it's like somebody punches you right in your heart. The Arabic does that. That's what it's meant to do. It says here, on the contrary, referring to what the description was before about remembrance of Allah, when they're turning away and they're just like kind of taking it as a joke and thinking they're going to be okay. Allah says, no, bel means au contraire, on the contrary. Mata'na ha'ula'i wa aba'ahum. We gave respite and we gave pleasures to them and their forefathers. Again, bel mata'na ha'ula'i wa aba'ahum until hatta tala alayhim al-umr, until they grew old. Afala yaraun, don't you see? Anna na'ti al-ard, that we come to the earth. Nanqusuha min atrafiha, and we decrease it on its borders. Afahum ghalibun? Are they the victors now? Barbarian invasions are what we learned as history majors, that, when the civilization declines, when its time is up, one of the first things that happens, I've told you this, 4 things happen, but I'm going to say it again because I love history. First thing, too many military incursions, too many military invasions outside that you can't afford. So the military gets upset about this because they know what's wrong, and too many military forays and expenditures is what it's termed as. And then moral decline from within. Overtaxation of the people. And lastly, the barbarian invasions. Now, barbarian means anyone other than you. So to some of the Arabs in the classic times, the West were the barbarians because, they didn't have public lighting or sewerage or any of that good stuff that the Arabs had at the time. And now they're the barbarians to the Westerners because they fight in sandals. They live in mountains. You see yourself as others see you. No, you don't. You see yourself as you see yourself. So that's the bit I wanted to give you about decreasing your borders, which Allah says is what He's going to do. And then He asks you, do you think you're going to win? Are you the victors? Now, the next one that I put with this, because it kind of is connected to the concept of who are you, and the nation state, and the nationalities, and the differing opinions of what a human is supposed to be. Although Allah has told us in Surah Mu'minun, you're all one, I'm your Lord, obey me. And then they cut up the order. فَقَطَعَ أَمْرُهُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ زُبُرًا كُلُّ حِزْبٍ بِمَا لَدَيْهِمْ فَرِحُونَ. Allah tells us in Surah Mu'minun, we're all one, we're supposed to obey one. But then you broke it all up and you're all happy with your own version of things. And then He says, leave them for a time. Don't think you're going to change this, because you're not. You're not going to change the concept of thinking you're special and wanting to be the boss. It's in the Quran. So now we're going to a very interesting, and this will surprise you, but it comes along with what I was just mentioning about the word Israel, wasn't I? Telling you about Israel. They were good till they weren't. But we still love the name Israel. Let's never, ever say that there should be no Israel, because that falls in the face of Quran. Okay. So now let's go on to, this is quite shocking to, I know, a lot of you, and I would hope that you, some of you are Christian and you would know what I'm talking about. لقد كتبنا في زبور من بعد ذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين وما أرسلناك إلى رحمة للعالمين. Now, every word, every ayah in the Quran is perfectly, we could stay forever with every word, every letter, but the reason I'm focusing on this is I just mentioned to you about the barbarian invasions and cutting off your land, wherein you don't rule it anymore. So here, and it made me so happy to see how I could hook this in, because we learned that there were holy books, and of these holy books, we have the Torah, the Injil, the Quran, and before that, we had the Zabur of Dawood. And we would all say, what's a Zabur? What does that mean? We know David was a king of Israel, and he was a prophet. But what is a Zabur? And some people would say, well, we don't know anymore because it was, no, we do know. Because there are some legitimate scholars left over from the tribe of Israel, and I do believe what they say. Some of them, I believe that it is the book of Psalms, which is a beautiful book in the Old Testament. The Psalms of David. And if you read them, they'll make you happy. You know, there's not all this fire and brimstone type. Not that I'm complaining. Allah has to do that. And you just believe it right away, because this is how you know that there are truths in all of these books. Even now they're admitting that Buddha was a prophet. And so, you know, the old Bhagavad Gita and the Sanskrit, and there's truths in all of these books, because it's only one creator. Now, who did he send as a prophet? Well, that's up for debate. But we know there's truth in all of these. So let's not rush to judgment about who we are and what do we call ourselves? Americans? Liberty and justice for all? No, we get it. We have to scratch that now. I'm sorry. No, we can't. Because we're being faced with some really bitter truths. Question is, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to fall into that Democrat, Republican sinkhole, are you? We have a lot of sinkholes in Florida. Don't even point your fingers and fall into the believer, disbeliever, hypocrite, kafir, mu'min. No. Who are you? Take a good look at yourself. What are you doing? You have 5 more days now. These are the Ashar al-Akhir, where your deeds count for more than anything. So concentrate on your relationship with Allah. I gave you some, I think, interesting concepts to ponder. I wish you well on these last 5 days. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.